Welcome back to another Ottawa Citizens Senators one-on-one. I'm pleased to be joined today by former National Hockey League coach Bruce Boudreau. And Bruce, I got to tell you, Doug McLean was on, I think it was Sirius XM about 2 weeks ago, and he said, "You're having the Bruce brothers on. They look alike." And my
Well,
God, look at us.
I'm scared. I can't look at the camera.
Bruce, I got to ask you, the Senators are sitting as we speak, heading into the Olympic break, 7 points out of a playoff spot. You and I were just chatting before we started here. You feel like this team, and I do too, should be in a better position, shouldn't it?
I really do. I mean, to me, it goes to show you how important the early games are in the season. This is a perfect example. You need that. You need to get above 500 as much as you can early on, so you have a little breathing space when you do have a couple setbacks. And Ottawa didn't get that breathing space, so now they can win 4 in a row. But every loss seems like they're losing. If that game last night, which I thought was a game they should have won, I thought that it feels like you're losing 3 in a row or 4 in a row, and it's so tough. You got to be so mentally tough at this point of the year to keep going, because it can get frustrating if after a while.
One of the things I think we've seen from them, though, Bruce, through the course of the year, and one of the things that had to happen with that core, and I think Travis Green has reined them in a little bit, is defensively. Have you seen an improvement in the defensive commitment of guys like Stützle and Tkachuk and some of their better players through the course of this season?
Yeah, you have, and it's an easy way to sit there and say, "Listen, boys, when we win, let's look like how we win, and when we lose, let's look how like when we lose." And you have to put personal milestones or guides behind you, and look at the happiest is when your team is winning, and that's what I've always found to be true. Is if you got to put them things behind you and look at the team. The team winning makes you feel the best you can feel, and the individual goals go by the wayside, but the team goals stay with you. And it's when they learn that, I think I was texting you, when they finally learn it, and I think they're trying to realize that that when that happens, you have success. Like Buffalo was in very similar to Ottawa, and then when they learned how to play defense, or when they learned that, hey, we can't beat every team 5-4, then all of a sudden they've become very good. And sometimes, I mean, the goaltending just gets great, and that's something you always need. I think last night's loss, Brandon Bussey made some saves there that Ullmark didn't make, and that was the difference in the game.
Yeah, it was Reimer last night, but that's
Reimer, sorry.
yeah, I know. When I think of Ottawa's goalies, I think of Ullmark too. But I also thought, Bruce, that last night's game was kind of a microcosm of their season in a lot of ways, in that they play well, they limit the chances, but they don't get the goaltending. And Alain Vigneault told me once, if my goalie is better than your goalie, then I'm probably going to win. How much of this game is about goaltending?
You know what? Alan said it right, and I think all coaches say the same thing. I mean, if your goaltender is the better goaltender on 90% of the nights, you're going to win. And I think we've been saying this about Ottawa for a lot of years now. Like, I mean, and I mean, they went and they thought they got it fixed, and things go wrong. But I mean, it's always about the goaltender not letting the one goal go in that you think shouldn't go in, and then that usually comes back to haunt you. And it's unfortunate, but I agree with you. I think the goaltending, in the end, is the most important guy on the team. I don't care who you have. You can have McDavid or whatever, but if your goaltending isn't better than the other team's goaltending, you're usually not going to win the game.
And one of the things that I think till they got Ullmark, and they've used 5 goaltenders this year. And the only other team in the East that has used 5 goaltenders is the Toronto Maple Leafs. But I was going to say to you, I think since they let Craig Anderson go at the end of the 2020 season, I think they've used something like 18 different guys who have played net. And one year they used 7 because they ran into some injury trouble. I guess I'm getting at they tried Matt Murray, that didn't work. Ullmark won a Vezina in Boston. He was very strong for them down the stretch last year. He's just back from mental health leave, and he has looked very good in the 2 starts he's made since he came back. There is a chance there that if he gets on some kind of run when they get back for the final 25 games, he could help get them there or play a key role in getting them there, couldn't he?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When your goalie gets on a run like that and you just keep playing him, and that's what I'd be doing. I would not worry about back to backs. I mean, unless you're playing 3 and 4, I'd be if he's on a run, I'm using him because it's go time right now. Like I mean, every point is so important. Every win is so important. In the last 25 games, almost I don't know about Ottawa because I haven't looked at their schedule, but I'm willing to bet that they have a lot of conference games.
11. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, those games against the conference games are going to be so important, and winning those games, if your goalie is usually the better goalie, you're going to have success because the rest of the team, you look at these guys, and I look at them, and I'm going, man, they can skate, they can shoot, they got speed on the back end. If they defend properly and limit chances, and your goaltender is good, I don't see why they can't go on a big run.
I don't know how much you watch of Jake Sanderson, but I was talking to his dad Jeff yesterday because Jake's going to the Olympics for the
Mm-hmm.
Team USA, and he said that Jake has one thing that he didn't have, and that's a defensive gene.
And Jeff is right.
I knew you'd remember him as a player.
Because you're going to sit there and go, man, that Jeff could skate and he could shoot. And why wasn't he better? Is like, well, he liked to go, go, go.
But Jake to me is a guy who people should probably talk about more. I don't think he's kind of just pushing the surface here, isn't he?
Yeah, well, there's, I think with Ottawa, there's so many other guys to talk about that he
Right.
sort of gets lost in the shuffle, even though he was like a top, I think he was a top 10 pick.
5. Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, when they picked him, but Ottawa's not exactly um, the capital of the
Hockey world.
world when it comes to getting the information out. If he was in Toronto, he might be like I
Yeah.
mean that guy, but he's not, and it's unfortunate because I watch him and I just love watching him because he can pick the puck up and he can go. I mean, uh, very similar to what I think we were getting or in Ottawa got when Shabbat first came into the league. Only I think he's better defensively, obviously. But it's that's 2 good cornerstone defensemen on your team right there, and uh, it's one of those things that every time I think of Ottawa, I think they should win the game that they're playing.
Yeah. One of the things I think, and we say this all the time, but in your recollection, have you seen it as close? Basically, in the East, Bruce, only the Rangers are really out of it.
Yeah,
Everybody
I've never.
else is like I'm looking at New Jersey. They're at 57 points, but they could still catch someone in their division.
Mhm. I think everybody is still in it. Like, I mean, I look at the Atlantic and I have never seen it in my life that every team is above 500. How is that
Yeah.
feasibly possible? You usually like if you look in the West and there's teams that get picked on and every team beats them. That's nowhere that never doesn't happen in the Atlantic at all. It doesn't happen even the Rangers can come up and bite you one once in a while, but I mean every other team is above 500 in the whole conference. And that's why winning streaks are really tough because no matter who you play,
Yeah.
they're all the teams are about the same, right? Like, I mean, uh, it's I find it a really weird year that way, and it's nobody can pull away from anybody. So it's even now you're looking at in no, I was thinking something else, but I mean, I was thinking of Anaheim wins
Yeah.
last night. Now they're 1 point out of the Pacific. Like, I
I
mean,
know.
in any race, and they went through 9 games where they lost in a row. I mean, and the same thing can happen here. Like, I mean, nobody pulls away. Buffalo's the closest thing that's been on a runaway train since the beginning of December than anybody, I think. Like everybody else is just hovering, win 3, lose 3. You look at, I know we hate talking about Toronto, but they lose 6 and then all of a sudden they win
No,
3
no.
and they're going, they're back, the
Yeah.
Leafs are back. I mean, so
Well,
it's
but it's funny you say that because I think this is why people thought that the deadline, that the roster freeze at 3 p.m. on Wednesday before the Olympic break would be some kind of deadline. Now I think Panarin will be moved, but I think there's a lot of teams, certainly in the East, Bruce, that don't know what to do. Like if I'm Ottawa and Toronto and Columbus is what, 10-1 since
yeah.
Rick Bowness took over. Like,
Mhm.
how could you possibly sell at this point if you're playing that well?
You can't. You got to give them a chance, even though, like, I mean, if I'm a GM, I'm sitting there and thinking, do we have the team that can win? And if we think we've got the team that we can win, we can go for it. If we don't, and we think we're just going to lose in the first round,
Yeah.
but we're going to be tight, I'd stay where we are and hope that we get in, type thing. But and as far as the roster freeze and everything else, I think there's going to be a lot of deals done, but they want to wait those 2 weeks to save money on cap
Yes, of
space,
course.
right? So I mean, that's just uh, like, why trade Panarin today when you can save 2 weeks of salary? They might have a deal already done, but wait till the Olympics are over before we announce it. So,
It,
um, but I mean, never in my time as a guy that's been part of the NHL have I seen after 55, 56, 57 games, every team in the Atlantic Division being over 500.
well, and it will be interesting, the race when they come back from the break, and I'm sure you'll be involved as in TSN's trade coverage, and it will be interesting to see the race to the finish line when these two teams do come back. But one last thing is I think certainly you just want all the players to come back healthy from the Olympics, right? If you're sitting
100%.
if you're sitting as a coach of, let's say, the Washington Capitals right now, you're just hoping everybody comes back.
I'm nervous as hell if I'm any coach other anywhere with that is close to making the playoffs or solidly in. Like, I mean, because you usually have a lot of players over there if you're one of those teams. And boy, I'm watching every game and just praying that we don't have a Bruce Cassidy not Bruce Cassidy, Shea Theodore
Yeah.
get hurt like he did last year at the Four Nations, or anybody in particular getting hurt, because it could derail the season. And that's where my nervousness would be, biting my nails watching every game.
Well, we really appreciate your time today, Bruce, and I know you're going to enjoy the Olympics, and I'll enjoy them too. And you can look in a mirror again.
We can look at him. I don't know when the last. I think the maybe the last time we talked was when I was interviewing for the Ottawa job. I
That's
was
right, in
thinking
the
the same
lobby of
day
the Westin
when
Hotel.
you were hiding in the hotel, which I thought was great. Yeah. And then I even looked today when we're talking about this. I'm wearing the same striped shirt you are,
Oh
just
my
a different
gosh.
color. If this was in black and white, it would be pretty crazy.
Well, you've
But
got close ties to Ottawa, but great to see you again. Thank you very
yeah,
much,
it's great to
Bruce.
see you. Have a good break and enjoy it, and love listening to your stuff. And we'll see you again, I hope.
Thank you. Bruce Boudreau, former National Hockey League coach. For Post Media's Sens 1-on-1, I'm Bruce Garrioch.